Everybody. So glad you're here on Killer Culture Academy number 2. This is module 1, lesson 2, and I'm so thrilled to be talking about this stuff. I'm actually in Florida right now. As you can see, I'm at a business conference, and we've taken time out to do this for you. I'm here, but I'm thinking about you. And John Maxwell was here today. Tim Tebow was here today. Some incredible leaders. And now I wanted to come out. I've been looking forward to this all day long. So let's see. We got Penny on here, Jamie, Evan, Bethany, Melissa, Javier, April. We got a couple of Aprils here. Let's see. Jonathan, Charles, Mike, Kelly, Jolene. I mean, everybody's coming in. Can you guys all hear me okay? Wave at me, wave at me. It's 5 o'clock where you are, but it's 8 o'clock for me. It's already dark. I'm right by the water. And I have been having some very interesting conversations with some great leaders here at this incredible business conference, and a lot of exciting things in the works. But today, I want to hear, again, some recaps, some takeaways, and then we're going to just do Q&A. And that's kind of the brilliance of this program. You have the teachings on Mondays. Again, watch them whenever you want to. And if you're having any issues, we had 2 people that were having issues with the video. If you are having issues, make sure you email us. And Vimeo and ClickFunnels, we were having a little problem with them, but I think we're getting that all fixed. And I want to make sure that you have those. So an email went out to you also with the Vimeo links today, but just make sure that you're able to watch those. Never hesitate to reach out. I'm here for you, all right? You got me for 11 weeks, and I want to help you as much as I can. So start thinking right now about some takeaways. Something that stood out. Remember, I told you that conferences don't change people's lives. Books don't change people's lives. Sermons don't even change people's lives. Sentences do. There's something about a sentence that stands out to you in a conference, in a meeting, in a book, in the Bible. A sentence that will settle something that has been that you've been mulling over an issue. And I want to help you today. So remember, the basis of our entire program is culture trumps everything. Here's what culture is. You're going to hear me say it over and over. Culture is anything you create or tolerate. Culture is anything you create or tolerate. So there's not one thing in your company, your family, your household, for that reason, that we're not responsible for, because we either created it or we're tolerating it. So I want to talk about some of the things that we learned over the last 2 weeks. And I would love to hear from you. Let's not have there be long pauses in between different people. You can just jump in, unmute your microphone. Don't wait to be called on. And then I want to hear some takeaways, maybe a sentence that stood out, maybe a principle that stood out. And then if you have a question, feel free to ask that question. This is time for our coaching call, all right? So who wants to kick it off? Somebody unmute your microphone. Jump in.
Hey, Sean, how's it going?
Great, man. How are you?
Doing awesome. I do have a question. I watched the modules, and one of them was about the beep video. It's so awesome seeing that. And you constantly talk about, how loud is our beep in our organizations, and what is our beep? I think that's where I'm trying to figure out is how do I find out what is my beep and who is my beep? I guess, like, who's helping me create that beeping environment? So the louder that is, the more influence we can have as we, want to create an awesome environment.
Yeah, great question, man. You're either designing and creating the beep, or other people will create the beep for you. And for those of you that go back to lesson 1, we talked about the Brain Games video, and it is this social experiment that they did, and people just stood up based on a beep in an office. And nobody even knew why they were doing it, but it became a thing, and it was contagious. Okay, listen, you will either have culture by design, or you will have culture by default. You have culture. Some people say, I'm not really sure if we have a culture. Oh, it's there. It's there, all right. Just because you didn't design it doesn't mean it's not there by default. So in module 2, oh, I'm so excited about module 2. First module, we're just looking at, let's discover the gap between the culture that we have and the culture that we need. Really the culture that your company demands to win. Module 2 is where we begin the design phase. So we're going to get in. I'm going to help you design a playbook so that you have something tangible you can actually give people with all of your cultural standards, your sounds, your statements, mission, vision, values. We're going to comb through all that again. But again, you have to determine that. And really how I answer this question is you need to write down everything that you want in an employee. So what is your avatar? Those of you that are unfamiliar with that term, what's an avatar? An avatar is your ideal client or employee. What does that look like? I'm talking about characteristic traits. Who are they? Define who they are, write it all out. And then if you don't know who your target audience is, some people are like, I ask them, who's your target audience? And they say, everybody. Well, I don't know if that can actually be true in most cases. So who is your ideal client or employee? And for your employees, what character traits, what values do you want them to possess? We're not looking for identical twins and triplets or clones. We need them though to have the same heart, same vision, and running the same direction. Because if they don't, you're running this way, and it turns into division very, very quickly. So to answer your question, you establish what the beep is. You establish your culture, you establish the sound, and we'll help you in module 2. Great question, man. Who else? Any other takeaways? Any other questions?
Sean, I loved the sentences change lives, not conferences. I thought that was so good. It reminds me back of a book that I read, Deanne Turner, It's My Pleasure with Chick-fil-A. And I can't remember her exact quote, but she talks about being kind, being direct and honest is the kindest thing to do.
Yes.
And I know that like stuck with me as a young leader. I think, obviously I've been a leader for a lot of years now, but as a young emerging leader, difficult conversations were hard for me. Although what you said last week stuck with me, I'm really good at them. I run to them now, but I don't know how good I am. So I'm going to think about that. But I just thought that is so true, that like just
Good.
those sentences can change things. And I guess my question for you really quick is what is your sentence, or do you have a few that have changed your life?
What is my what sentences?
Yeah. Like what is a sentence that sticks out for you?
I often ask this question when I get a bunch of people together that my wife and I are hosting. I oftentimes will not just have the conversations be random. Many times I'll assign questions for the table so that they can be revealing something and people can leave with a nugget. And oftentimes I will say something like this: go around the table and just ask, what's the best advice you've ever heard?
Mm.
And who did you hear that from? You think about the mentors in your life. You can't get everything that you need from one mentor. God has blessed me with several people in my life that have taught me in different seasons of my life. And what a mentor does is they don't just teach you information, you catch their spirit. So there are sentences that change my life. A couple I'll give you real quick. My mom told me before she passed away, she said, Sean, it takes all kinds of people to reach all kinds of people. Some of these statements are so simple that it would go over somebody else's head and they wouldn't grab it. So don't ever judge a sentence based on if other people got it, because that sentence might just be for you in your season. That sentence to me let me know very early on with what I was doing that I'm not going to reach everybody. Like God has gifted all of us with different skill sets, different talents, and we are called to reach different people. So you in business, somebody in ministry, somebody in a nonprofit, somebody a working a dad or a mom, stay-at-home mom or dad, kids, everybody is going to reach somebody. But don't worry about it. You're not called to reach everybody. It takes all kinds of people to reach all kinds of people. So appreciate the differences instead of dividing on them. Another thing she told me, she said this: run with those who are with you. Oh, that's good. Run with those who are with you. In the sense of, I can't run with people. Have you ever had employees that you were trying to get to run with you, you're spending all this extra time investing in them, and they're just, you know, I call it going boneless. You know, they don't want to run with you. They don't want to, they don't carry the values with you. And you spend so much time trying to carry them and motivate them. And at some point, I'm saying at some point, after a lot of grace, and at some point, you have to turn around and say, man, I need to run with people who are with us. And there are people, there are employees who are with you. But you're going to also recognize, you probably have already seen this, there are employees who are not with you. How does it make you feel when you're trying to accomplish the mission, vision, values of your company, your organization? How does it make you feel when somebody is running right alongside you? Oh, it's the best feeling in the world. But how does it feel when you have somebody else that's running at a very different pace? You ever had a three-legged race before? You better be in sync, otherwise you're going to fall. How does it make you feel when your employees just are? I'm going to help you with some of those difficult conversations in number 2 and number 3 of the modules, but those are a couple sentences real quick. I don't want to galvanize our time together, but you recognize who says the sentence and what's the spirit of the person that is giving it, and the season you're in. Oftentimes it seems like everything aligns and you're like, this is exactly what I need. I have been to a conference before, spent money to go there, time, came back, and I heard one sentence, and I told my wife, if I flew across the states to get this one sentence, worth it. So worth it, because it changed my thinking. It expanded what I thought was possible. And it settles something that I have been wrestling with in my heart and my mind, like, oh, what do I do about this person? And then one person will say one sentence, and that's the only thing I remember. And it was worth it. Very good question.
Sean, I was
Who
gonna,
else? Who else? This is good.
Sean, I was just gonna jump in and a 20-second piggyback. I keep a list in my notes on my phone of my one-liners of my sentences.
Yeah.
And I just keep them going. And it's nice because you refer back and they just become the fabric of who you are, right? And what you do. And so like mine is, I like pray like it depends on God and work like it depends on me. It's a no for
Yeah.
now, but not forever, right? Just all my little one-liners from reading or
Sure.
conferences or messages, but it helps because people get sick of me saying them because they know they're not, they think they're mine because I've said them so much. I'm like, they're not mine, they're someone else's, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. I keep them in a file right there, right where I can see them.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's good to keep a log and go back through them, because you forget. You know, remember, vision leaks. So you can get so excited about something and then totally forget it. And let me give you this. This is a side note. I think everybody tonight, one assignment is, I want you to record yourself on a video, talking to yourself about all the reasons why you cannot quit, all the reasons why you do what you do, and then just archive it, put it away, don't think about it until there's a day where you are so frustrated with people that you just want to hop on a plane and run away. And you go to that video and you let yourself motivate yourself for all the reasons why you do what you do. It's such a great gift to have motivation, because some people are inspired, but they're not motivated. I don't want to just inspire you. I'm trying to motivate you into movement. And sometimes, well, every time I've ever grown, it's because somebody else has called me higher or spoken something that it resonated with me in the season I was in, and my world was enlarged into thinking and believing what was possible. Yeah. Anybody else? Any other takeaways before we jump into questions?
Well, mine is, what did you mean about not about getting the job done? You need to get the people done.
Yeah, great question. Just for clarification, a lot of people focus on tasks. Let's get the job done. Get the job done. Let's make sure, the product is out, and make sure the people get this. Everybody is focused on the issue or the product. I'm telling you, don't focus on the job. Focus on your people, the team, You get them done, you build such health in them, they will get the job done and it will get done better. So focusing on the health of the team, the culture of the team. If somebody does not know, like, and trust you, they're not going to give you their best. So I was thinking about this. I had a chat today there's a billionaire here, and I had a lunch with him, and we're talking about all of this, and he wants me to come and speak at his conference next year in April. And I just asked him a few questions. And one of them was, how much does it cost for you whenever you hire or fire somebody? He said, a year's salary. It's a large company. I mean, it's a very large. And then we began to talk a little bit about the idea of culture. And I said this, how many employees do you think you have that you are paying a full salary for, but only getting part-time work? That statistic would be really high, because most employees, statistically, are not giving their best, and they are distracted, unmotivated, and it is literally transactional. They show up because they have to, and then they leave as soon as they can. And even while they're there, they're not giving this younger generation doesn't even know how to put in a solid 8 hours of work without looking at their phone, checking their social media. I'm telling you, you have to reestablish, almost reprogram the mindset of all of your employees, from the top to the very, very entry level person, because you are not getting what you're paying for. And some of you have thousands of employees, some of you have 20 employees. It is all the same. You fight this mentality where they don't want to give you solid 8 hours, or if they're giving you hours, it's not their best work, because nobody's holding them to the standard. And by the way, if they don't know what the standard is, how do you know when we're winning? We have to clearly establish where the boundary lines are, where the goal is, because if they step out of bounds, again, like the football illustration, the football team, Team Tebow was here today. We were talking about a few things, and if the boundary lines for the football field are not there, somebody steps out of bounds. Well, when I call you on that, you're going to tell me, oh, I didn't know. Like, what are you talking about? Why are you calling me on this? Well, and then now there's a fight. But if you clearly establish where the boundary lines are, this is what's acceptable, this is what's not acceptable, and here's the why behind it, you're helping them do that. That's why the boundaries are clearly established in a football game before the game ever starts. Right now, a lot of the boundary lines in your companies might be skewed. They might be blurred. They might not be visible because they've been covered up by so much other stuff. So what we're going to have to do is establish and reestablish the boundary lines of where people can and cannot go when it comes to the culture of your company. So yeah, we want to get the people done. And you do that by care. You do that by investment. You do that by rewarding what you want repeated, because whatever you allow, you encourage. Ooh. Whatever you allow, you encourage. Every time you allow something and you don't confront that in a life-giving way, you're telling everybody that's okay to do. So again, if somebody come to work one time late, it's not a big deal. If it's a pattern, well, a shallow leader won't even address that. And pretty soon that becomes the culture. And then one day when you're frustrated, you're like, why are you show up late all the time? And they're like, why are you just now talking to me about this? Like, what? Chill. Like, why are you so uptight? Because you've let it go on for so long. They've come to believe that is okay here. So yeah, getting the people done will get the work done better. What else? What else? This is good. Any other takeaways, thoughts? Just unmute your microphone. Questions. It could be questions pertaining to your specific area of work or a conversation you need to have.
one of the takeaways is I really like what I liked what you said about leaders, that leaders care. And you said, do we care about them or do we care about what they do? And my takeaway was making sure that we make our people feel that we really do care about them and their
Yeah.
well-being.
And we do care about what they do, right? I mean, we hire them for a job. But I would just prioritize and make sure they know it and feel it, that you care about them more than their gift. Because everybody uses people. Everybody uses people to get their agenda accomplished. And you've hired people to sell, you've hired people to do a job, but let them know that you care about them as a person, you see them as a person, you value them as a person. You do that, you will get so much more out of them. So don't focus on the do first, focus on the them first, focus on who they are. And some of that is not, it's not all going to be done by you. I understand many of you are in charge of tens of people, hundreds of people, thousands of people. So you're not going to be the one that's doing all of this. But I'll tell you this, the next level beneath you, they better carry all this too. Otherwise, it's in your head and you carry it and it gets, remember, it gets diluted. Every single layer. And if the second tier of leaders is not carrying the health of the culture from which you have established, what's the bottom tier getting? You know, what's the client experiencing when they come in or your people go to them? So that's good. Any questions?
I've
Because
got
I want to review a few things, but I want to answer. This is your coaching time, all right? Don't hesitate asking a question.
I have a quick
Clarifying
question.
comment. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm just wondering, can you talk a little bit about like how to strategies to kind of overcome falling into people working in silos, kind of in their own little spaces, not necessarily, causing a problem or anything, but I think running a school, that's a kind of a problem within or a potential issue that could come by having you're kind of about your class or you're about what's going on in your area or your grade levels instead of as a larger team.
Yeah, silos are an issue in every single company in the entire world. And most people think I'm here to do my job and that's it. So what you're doing is you're casting, remember, I told you, as a leader, all we have is a paintbrush. We're just painting a picture of why this is a better way. What could be if? And almost appeal to their selfish nature sometimes, letting them know how this will benefit them. Because if you just simply come and say, hey, the company needs you to do this, well, they might see that, but they're not motivated to do that. But how would this affect them? How would this give them less stress? How would this make them filled with more purpose and joy and fill in all the blank? But most people that live in silos, they're good at what they do. Head down, just let me work, let me work, let me work. Don't bother me, let me work. They don't understand we're a team. So this is where you as the leader come in and you let them know, oh, no. We're a team. And you can use a bunch of the illustrations and analogies that I give you. By the way, any of these analogies that stick with you or jump out, use them. Use them in your next team meeting. Let them know about the idea of a team. Like we couldn't have a football team, a basketball team, any team that just comes out on the field, on the court, and they all do their own thing. Like, hey, I'm just going to go over here and run my play. Guys, we are running one play. We are one team. And going back to Ritz-Carlton, who used to be the standard of excellence in the hotel industry until they sold it and culture slipped, which, by the way, just because a company is amazing doesn't mean it's going to stay amazing. We've seen a few of those. But they had a statement back in the day where every employee said, everything is my job. Okay, what is that sentence? That sentence is dripping with urgency and it grabs our attention. What do they mean, everything is my job? Well, again, if somebody spilled coffee in the lobby, they wouldn't call maintenance, hey, maintenance, I need you to come clean this. This is your job. No, the person at the front counter comes around the side of the desk, they clean it up, they make sure the customer is happy, comfortable. There's this there's a camaraderie, there's a team, but also we realize we're not in silos. We are driving in one big lane. And sometimes, even if you think of a freeway, there are times where you're going to merge into another lane or merge in this lane. So there's a flexibility there. And most people in companies, they have a +1, meaning here's what they were hired to do. This is their role, but then we're going to add a +1 to them. You're going to now be responsible for your lane. And then I want you to think about this as well. So it's not uncommon. Some people have +2s, you know, but it's casting the vision of why we're a team and why, if we're going to win as a company, if we're going to hit our bonuses, if you're going to be fulfilled in life, let me tell you, you have to understand the culture here is team. I don't even say family. Some people, they like to use the word family for their company. Oh, we're just a big old family. Yeah, but what happens when you fire family? So I typically don't use the word family, even though we have felt like family. I like the word team. And there's a lot of great analogies for that. So it's casting the vision of why. Who else? Who's next? Jump in, unmute your mic.
Hey there.
Hey, Sean, this is,
Go ahead.
sorry.
Go ahead. I'll
Bethany,
go
please.
Okay. I've just completed doing about 40 staff evaluations, and so they meet with me first, then I go to their classroom and visit them. I have 3 other people visit their classroom, students evaluate them, and then we do a wrap-up meeting. So today, tomorrow, I'll wrap up meetings. Anyways, so I have one that okay, it's only back preference. I work in academia. It's a tenure track. They earn tenure over a 4-year process. They have to have 4 performance reviews that are successful in order to earn tenure. And then once you earn tenure, it's pretty much impossible to lose your job. Like, you gotta do something pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So first year, you can get rid of someone without cause. Second year, you have to have cause. Third and fourth year, it's very hard to get rid of someone. So you got to move quick if you see something wrong. So
Yeah.
I have this person, it's a new faculty, and I feel like I'm murdering a puppy. She is the sweetest, nicest, most little, she talks like this, hi guys. I'm like, I'm murdering a puppy is what I'm doing. But it's a hot mess. She's not doing well in her classes. Her reviewers are not giving her good remarks. Anyway, so today I had to do her evaluation, her final one, and put her on a performance improvement plan. And then our team meets again. We have 2 more meetings and we decide if we're keeping her or not. And it looks like we're not keeping her, is leaning it that way. And I think I might be the first dean in the last 10 years to fire someone ever from this college as a faculty. So it's very, very, very rare to get fired as a faculty member.
Yeah.
So what I'm hoping I did it right. There's a union involved. There's very strict rules. So I just did it about an hour ago. I told her, I said, I'm gonna give it to you very straight, black and white. You didn't meet 5 expectations. Here's the 5 things I expect you to do. I expect you to do them by this date. This many meetings, this many trainings, whatever, this many phone calls. They got to be done by January. And then I will do a follow-up meeting with all the people involved in those meetings and phone calls and trainings to see if you completed them.
Yeah.
And then
Well,
so I'm hoping it's like, it's very linear. It's black and white. There's not a lot of gray as far as the process she has to follow to avoid termination. But then you got this like little puppy eyes looking at you about to cry, and you're like, oh. And her dad's in a nursing home. She's at the nursing home with her dying father as I'm giving the review. It sucked.
you can feel sad, but you can't feel bad.
Yeah.
Understand me when I say this. You can feel sad. It's very sad that she has not met the expectations that you have clearly laid out. But do not let yourself, don't allow yourself to feel bad for that, because feeling bad insinuates you had responsibility in that. So even that changes the dynamic. Oh, I just feel so bad for her. I feel so bad for her. No. You feel sad for her. Don't feel bad for her. What you've done is you have provided an opportunity with any employee. Take the feelings out. I know it's difficult because you guys love people. But part of the reason you all are in your role is to make hard decisions. And it's affecting I would rather have a hard chat with an employee and keep customers and clients than to ignore the needs of customers and clients because I don't want to ruffle any feathers with an employee. So here's some of the conversation you're going to have with her is you say, because again, you have offered grace, you've offered steps, you've offered everything that you asked and required of her. You've done everything you can, and it's been, I don't even know how long. So now what you say is something to this effect. We gave you these steps. You have not met these expectations that were very clear. So now you're telling us this is no longer a good fit for you. See what I did there? I refuse to take the blame on something that is absolutely not your fault. This is, you have given her an opportunity. She has squandered it. There's 20 other people that would love to take her place in these days. So now you're just turning it and just saying, hey, listen, based on how you have performed and your lack of performance, your lack of motivation, you're telling us this is not a good season right now for you to be working here. You're telling us this is not a good fit anymore. Because if you wanted to work here, oh, you would have done all these steps and gone above and beyond. For some reason, there's something in you that's prohibiting you from taking the necessary basic steps to do what we've paid you to do. Now, I know you're going through a lot of things, and you can express sympathy for some of those. But listen, everybody's going through something. And we can't, that part of being an adult, part of being an adult is we can show up and prefer people and do our job even in difficult seasons. Now, again, offer grace, which you have, offer help, which you've had, but at some point you're just putting it back on them. But don't feel bad about this. Feel sad. It's very sad. It's very sad that somebody with her education and her ability and her tenor and all would just squander it. But at some point you have to, don't delay the inevitable is what I'm saying.
No, legally, I have to let her go the whole year. So she has to go through. So that's part of it. I've already talked to lawyers, but I've had a good measuring stick because I have 4 other people in the same position in the same time where they're new and coming into tenure, and they're all killing it, hustling, overachievers. You know what I mean? Because in your first year, you're supposed to be a little, overachiever hustler trying to get your tenure. So anyway, so it's kind of nice to have the comparison because I'm like, I see these 4 guys killing it. And
if you don't address this lady, you lose respect with the other guys and ladies.
Absolutely.
Because they're like, why? You told us we're held to a standard here. Why did she get a pass? So people are watching how you handle this, and you'll gain respect even in the offboarding of this individual. You'll gain respect from everybody else. If I asked you right now, everybody look right at me. If I asked you and your whole team, who's the weakest link on your team? I promise you, everybody knows. Nobody would have to think, let me think about it. Everybody knows. And they're wondering why you are tolerating their lack of performance and the lack of the ability to carry culture. So it's time to engage in that. And that's what Module 2, Module 3 will all be about, but really good. Who else was going to jump in?
I have just something really quick. You talk about like showing how you care. And when as a leader, and I'm in a classroom, obviously, and I want to show my kids I care, it's different than how you would show your staff. So what are some tangible examples of how you would show your staff you care?
Yeah, there's several ways. One is, small talk is very cheap. Hey, how you doing? What are you drinking? Oh, and then you're gone. There are some people that's the level of connection, and there are great books out there, how winning with people and different things like that. But you just want to make sure you're finding out a couple things. Number one, how do they feel care? Because we all feel care differently. If you have kids, you're married, everybody feels cared for differently. So the 5 love languages, you could read that book as well. But find out from them what makes them feel valued. And I think words of affirmation are very important. But don't just think it. All right, let me give you four different ways leaders respond with what they think, positive thoughts about their employees. Number 1, they think it and don't say it. They think it, don't say it. Number 2, they don't even see it. That's not good. And number 3, they think it, say it to them while they're alone. Hey, just want to let you know the way you handle that situation, great job. You're a great leader. This 4th one, though, you get so much more mileage out of this. Like we had a young man who is just an amazing leader. And I saw it. So I could have just told him, hey, just want to let you know I'm proud of you. You're doing such a great job with X, Y, and Z. But the other day we had a big meeting. And before we started, I turned around and I told him in front of peers, you should have seen. It does way more when you're acknowledging great leadership or great culture, celebrating somebody in front of their peers. It's a shout out. It does something deeper. So don't just miss it. Don't just think it. Don't just think it and say it. Think it and say it in front of peers. That's one way. But you're figuring out what does care look like. And it's acknowledgement, it's finding out what they value and you value that. My daughters, I have 4 girls, and growing up, they loved Disney princesses. Guess what? I loved Disney princesses. Not because I love Disney princesses, because I love my girls, my daughters. And what's important to them becomes important to me because I value them. So, it's becoming all things to all people that you can win some over. And there are several different ways that you can do that, but I would start with that. Yeah. All right, we have a few minutes left. Let me jump in. Oh, there was one more. Sorry, there's one more person that was cut off. Let's go to that comment. Who was that?
Yeah, I'll be brief. Trevor Brand. Nice to meet everyone. Thanks for having us all on, Sean. Maybe first part comment, then second part question. So loved your comment on the web around strategy, eating culture for breakfast. It's something that I've lived by. I've seen a lot of organizations get it wrong when they focus too much on how to execute something and not who has to execute it. A part of what I'm doing in my organization right now, we just finished our strategic planning session, so we're starting to cascade that throughout the organization. Obviously, we have a big focus right now on the who is going to execute it and not just the how. But in many cases right now, I'm trying to fix the plane while also flying it at the same time. I would love to hear maybe some of your thoughts on how do we as an organization continue to create clarity around what we need to do, but also focusing on who needs to complete the work. We'd love to hear maybe some thoughts around that.
What was the very last part on what we need to do and who what?
And also who needs to complete the work. So we need to focus on our people, but also we've got goals and timelines that we need to hit. I don't want to lose the people aspect of it, and speed becomes a part of it, but really looking to how can we create that clarity while not losing momentum and speed at the same time.
Great. You do it all at the same time, and that's okay. I don't want you to misconstrue, any of you, what I think about adding value to people. It's not some mushy, you're a doormat and you let them run over you. No, you're assertive. You're letting them know this is where we're going. This is the deadline in which we're going to meet. And here's how we're going to get there. And here's the spirit and attitude in which we're going to achieve it. So it's doing it all at the same time, because you just identifying the job, hey, this is what needs to happen, would not be enough in your context. You have to identify timeline. And by the way, with timelines, I think you start with the end in mind and work your way backwards for anything. Because a lot of people don't even think about timelines. They just think cramming, I have a few days left. I better start giving this attention. And you're helping them see it before they see it. You're an overseer. You see things way before any of them see. So it's establishing the who would be best fit for that role. And then I would also begin to ask, who is next in line. The goal should not just be to find one person to do a job. The goal ought to be, we have a culture of raising other people up as well. And I would put some of that responsibility even on them. You know, who is second string? Who's third string? Who do you have your eye on? But as you're building clarity with language and culture, you're also driving the bus while people are moving around on the bus. And sometimes you're like, sit down in the back. You know, some people get off the bus, some people get on the bus. You're trying to find everybody the right seat on the bus. But as the bus driver, as the leader, you're a CEO of an incredible hospital. There's a lot going on beneath you. And so the next tier of leaders that you're going to be talking to, they need to see what you see. There was the CEO of Walmart. He gave the reins to another guy. And this is what they would do every week. They would hop on his jet and they would fly to a Walmart somewhere in America. And they'd walk around for 4 hours and assess, you know, everything. And then they'd get back on the jet. And then the CEO would ask the new CEO in line, he would ask him a couple questions. Number one, he said, tell me what you saw. What'd you see? So this guy would talk about all the things that he saw that were wrong and good. And then he said, okay, let me tell you what I saw. They did this for, I don't know how long. As I was being told this, it's brilliant because you're taking someone on a journey and be careful you don't just give people the answers. Whenever I've been with a great leader, I have my list of questions. I have all my questions. I want to get those answers and I get my answers, but that's not all I'm looking for. I'm trying to figure out, how did they come to that conclusion? How did they process that information? Like if I put a math equation on the board right now and I just gave you the answer, well, you might have the answer, but I didn't teach you how to do it on your own. So you got this particular one right because I told you what the answer was. But you're trying to help people see how-to steps on how to get the equation done. So when you're no longer even in the room, you've moved on to another department or to train different people. They still are, they know how, because they know how you think now. They know how, if Trevor wasn't, he's not here today, but if he was walking through the hospital, he's walking through slowly. He's not racing just on his phone, just kind of, he's walking. If he's not here and I'm here, I'm going to presence him. I'm going to represent him and I'll walk slowly and I'm going to shake hands with and pat people on the back and tell them great job. And hey, this looks great. So you're taking them on the journey. And you hit it just on the nose. You are on a journey. The plane is already in flight. You've been serving snacks and tray tables are not in their upright position, but there's a lot of movement that still needs to take place. And the majority of movement in a company transpires by you being the main vision caster and helping people see what you see. And in my time talking with you, I think you're an incredible leader already. I think you're going to do an incredible job raising these people up because you already are earning their respect. And now it's just, again, like you said, identifying the who. But you can't just spend time doing the who. There's still a job to be done. So take them on the journey with you, like your kids. We take our kids, we're in movement on our way down to Disneyland, but we're still teaching valuable lessons on the way. Here's why we do this. I want you to do that. Here's why we do this. Yeah. Journey with them. All right. In a couple of minutes that we have left, let me ask you this question. Lesson number 2, I want to get down to this idea of, can you identify the current state and feel of your culture at your company? Now, if I talk about toxic culture, again, anything harmful, unpleasant, anything you tolerate, it's allowing the presence and existence of. If I would ask you, what is the current state and feel of your culture at your company, rating it from a 1 to 5, 1 being it's killing you, 5 being we're killing it, it's amazing, what would that number be? And before we have to dilate before we diagnose and before we actually begin to develop. So maybe in a few words, descriptive words, I'd like for you to write that down this week. Some of you have it right now. We can talk about it. But what level, 1 to 5, would your culture be based on what we've discussed already in the last 2 weeks? And then what are some descriptive words? Does it feel great? Does it feel frustrating? Does it feel, exhausting, thriving? What does that feel? Anybody want to judge or rate your culture 1 to 5 or descriptive word?
Hey, Pastor Sean. Yeah.
Hey, Sean, this is
Oh.
Kelly from.
Go ahead, Kelly.
Okay. Yeah. So we've been doing a lot of culture work, and we've gotten to the point now where we're almost there, right? And trying to figure out how to get to that next step. And for us, it really is, I would say on a scale of 1 to 5, we are almost 4, right? So we're doing really, really well. And now we're starting to see, like, I don't want to say bad behavior, but poor leadership bubble up, lack of accountability, right? Well, if you wanted me to do that, you should have told me. Right. And so most of the leaders see the clarity, but every now and then that it's you, not me kind of happens. And it's a little frustrating. So any words of wisdom or techniques, or, I mean, I think
Most people are, like I said,
sometimes it's just not the, but could there
So-
be something else?
most people, you broke up for just a second, but I think I got the gist of your question. Like I said, most people are giving part-time effort for full-time pay. And when you ask them to do something extra, if the response is, that's not my job, they don't pay me enough, you should have told me, you're now, you realize, okay, there is a clarifying issue. So I'm going to have to take them on a small journey to help them realize, I need your head to be on swivel. The fact that you missed it is alarming to me. The fact that you didn't recognize you should have done X, Y, and Z is a red flag to me. And then you just engage, bring them closer. Proximity and consistency are necessary for them to become the type of leader that you require. Consistency, proximity. And if it's not you, then it's the team under you, and making sure that everybody is running the same direction and they are very clear on the play. Because it would be like, again, I like sports analogies. It would be like somebody on the court that just messes up, comes back to the coach, and the coach is like, I just showed you the play. He's like, you should have told me. We're running this play. What are you talking about? I need to tell you more. So we have to find out, where is the breakdown in communication and ownership. Again, most people are working like a hireling and they don't have an owner mentality. At Krispy Kreme, I walked up one time and the hot sign was on, and I asked the guy, I was like, hey, you must love it when the hot sign is on. He said, no, I hate it. And I realized very quickly, oh, you're just a worker. You're not an owner. Again, because an owner would love to have to clean up sugar on the floor and a line out the door. But an owner sees things other people don't see. So I'm glad that they have mentioned that, because that's clarifying for you. I need to lean into that person a little bit more, because they're a little foggy on direction, mission, vision, values, and alignment and direction. So I'm going to lean into them, and I'm going to clarify and re-clarify why they're here, the impact that they're making, the purpose, and what I'm expecting out of you. I think people fail for one of two reasons. Number one, they have a bad heart. Number two, we weren't as clear as we ought to be. Now, people do fail for both. You have people working for all of you right now. They have a bad heart. That's more difficult to win over. But even when we think we're clear, the litmus test of our clarity is based on the people and their response when they come and they say things like that. So you've heard the old adage, you have to say something and say something and say, and then just when you get sick and tired of saying it, that's when you're just starting to say it enough. People need to have the clarity of clear expectations. What do you expect from them? And they'll get it. I mean, if they have the right heart, oh, they'll get it. They'll get it. If they don't, then we're going to have another life-giving chat with that person. And that's when the 90-day challenge or the 30-day expectations and then offboarding if need be. But you got to help them see, hey, this is why this can't happen anymore. That makes sense?
Yes, thank you.
Where's the hospital that you're over? We have 2 CEOs of different hospitals. Where's the hospital you're over?
We're in Vallejo, California.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And how many employees would you say are there?
We currently have somewhere north of 630 employees.
Great. 630 employees, 630 different personalities.
Yeah.
630 different backgrounds.
Yeah.
You have your challenge. Everybody, as the larger the company gets, the harder it is to control the culture. And that's why this is so important, even to protect what you built and re-clarify what you've already established. Anybody else? Thank you so much for sharing that, Kelly. Anybody else before we tune off? Rate your culture, 1 to 5, or a descriptive word that comes to mind.
Yeah, Pastor John, this is Jonathan Fuentes. You mentioned sarcasm as a big red flag over the last 2 videos, and I think we're like at a 2.75, maybe even 3. We're like in our mid 30s, and sarcasm is like almost normal. And you just brought it up so many times where I'm like, oh no, like we got to stop. And yeah, and so that's kind of immaturity, and it's dangerous now that you've mentioned it, the way that it could corrupt a healthy culture. So that's kind of my rating of the team's culture. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, what's interesting, guys, is that in even just the last cycle of Killer Culture Academy, I had people in week 9 and 10. They tell me, man, at first I thought our culture, because I said 1 to 5, I thought our culture was a 5. And then by the end of Killer Culture Academy, I realized, oh gosh, we're at a 2. So that number might change. It's okay. But when it comes to things of culture, you have to understand it's rust. It is the rust that begins to deteriorate everything you have built. I'm sarcastic by nature. I've had to stuff that down because I see the funny, the humor, the sarcasm in almost everything. So a lot of times I just have to shut my mouth. But sarcasm, here's the thing about sarcasm. It's funny at first. It's funny until it's not. So you have employees that are sarcastic, and at first it gets chuckle. Pretty soon, there's an irritation. After that, there's a division. And now you're talking about, do we hire this? Or do we hire somebody else for this? We fire this person? It's a very slippery slope. So the reason that they are sarcastic is because nobody's called them on that. You have to let them know, again, impact versus intent. Hey, I know this is not your intent, but let me tell you how this is impacting the team. And let me tell you why this is not our culture, and we cannot respond or talk like that anymore. We don't talk like that here. And I'm going to help you. And then you turn it around on them. I'm protecting you. I don't want other people to dog you out or talk badly about you based on how you're making other people feel. I want to protect you. All right. Even that phrase alone, I want to protect you as a leader, lets them know you value them, even in a corrective conversation. And that can be said, you know, if somebody comes with their hair all messed up, like they rolled out of bed, that something as simple as that. Hey, you're a leader here. I don't want people to take you not as put together. So to protect you, I just want to remind you, hey, make sure you're showering and combing your hair every day. And I'll buy you some hair gel if you need it, or whatever the case is. But if you're talking about something that is countercultural, you have to engage. I said this phrase earlier. I'll say it one more time. Don't delay the inevitable. Don't put off conversations and coaching and care and correction just because you feel uncomfortable doing so. It's part of your role to keep healthy culture, because that is costing you money and it's costing you impact.
It's that concept of feed forward. Feed forward, right? You give feedback, but a lot of times you're feeding forward so they can be successful.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. The times that you grew, it was because somebody stuck their finger in your chest and said, hey, you're better than that. There's gifts and callings in you. You're going to be a great leader one day. But here's what I watch out for. Now, a great leader will be teachable. And you have to teach the folks, stay teachable so you can stay usable. If you have somebody that's, kicking off anytime you ever correct them and you find yourself having to walk on eggshells around them, you realize the issue is not with you, it's them. We have to create a soft heart to want feedback, to desire it. I mean, again, every great leader has a coach. Tiger Woods pays somebody to correct him. LeBron James pays somebody to correct him. I'm sorry. And if you have somebody that refuses correction, refuses any type of instruction, that's when you have to just dive in, sit them down, and help them see, I see you here, but you're functioning here. And part of the reason you're still here is because you will not receive correction. I'd even ask them, what is it in you that just balks at correction or encouragement or, guidance? Because I need you to stay teachable so you can stay usable and effective. Guys, it's time. I've so enjoyed the night. Listen to me. You're going to see some things in your own leadership over the next several weeks, places you can grow, and you're going to see some things in other people on your team, places they can grow. You're moving in both directions at the same time. And I'm going to give you language. I'm going to give you a strategy. And by the end of this Killer Culture Academy, I promise you, you're going to become better professionally and personally. And I look forward to these every single week. So don't miss any of the lessons. Again, if you're having any trouble with the lessons, make sure you contact us. But you go in to you don't have to wait for a link to be emailed or a text. You don't have to wait for that. You can just go back in, and with ClickFunnels, the original email, you have to send yourself a magic link and then go watch that video. And you can watch those over and over and over. And then don't miss these Zooms. They are recorded if you have to miss, but I'm telling you, you don't want to miss any of these. So thank you guys so much for being here tonight. I'm flying back to Cali, and this has been a great conference here, but the highlight of my day is being with you. So thanks so much for being here. Appreciate you. Have a great night.